The Missing Shadows. In the heart of Ravenswood, a small, forgotten town shrouded in mist, the people have always had one unspoken rule: never speak of the missing. Once every 10 years, someone vanishes without a trace, leaving no clue, except for one eerie sign: a shadow, disappearing bit by bit, flickering like a weak flame before vanishing altogether. Our story begins with Sarah. Sarah was a kind, quiet woman, the sort everyone thought they knew. But one cold November night, she noticed something disturbing. Her shadow was fading. At first, she thought it was a trick of the light. But soon, it grew fainter, flickering like a candle about to die. She mentioned it to a friend, but her friend only laughed, saying she must be working too hard. But Sarah couldn't shake the feeling: something was wrong. 3 days later, Sarah was gone. When Detective Lucas Reed arrived, he was already haunted by his own past. A man seasoned by years of police work, yet scarred by a recent tragedy, Lucas was known for his sharp instincts, and Ravenswood's strange pattern of disappearances drew him in. As he delved into Sarah's case, he discovered something chilling: a pattern stretching back decades. Each disappearance, every 10 years, followed by a shadow that had vanished just days before. Determined to uncover the truth, Lucas interviewed Sarah's friends, colleagues, even her family. They all spoke of her final days with that same hushed confusion, her terror at watching her own shadow flicker in the light. Her whispers about a dark presence, one she swore was following her, but that no one else could see. Then, a strange thing happened. As Lucas examined her home, he noticed something peculiar: his own shadow. It seemed thinner, almost translucent. Was it his imagination, or was he too being watched? Over the next few days, as he investigated, Lucas began to feel he was being observed. Walking down the empty, fog-covered streets of Ravenswood, he sensed something moving just beyond the corner of his eye. And then came the whispers, soft at first, then louder, until he could almost make out words. Join us, desperate for answers. Lucas searched through the town's archives, hoping to find any hint of a pattern. And there, buried in the town's old records, he found it. An ancient cult that had once roamed the forests around Ravenswood. A cult dedicated to an entity they called the Shadow Keeper. The cult believed that, to save themselves from this dark force, they had to offer sacrifices in the form of shadows. And so, they offered their own shadows to the Shadow Keeper, in exchange for their own safety, for a little while, at least. Lucas began to unravel, haunted by shadows that danced in his own home, by reflections in mirrors that didn't quite match his own movements. And then one evening, he looked down, and his shadow was almost gone. A mere outline, barely visible. With a deep sense of dread, Lucas knew he was next. The very night his shadow vanished completely, Lucas followed one last lead: a hidden altar deep in the woods, rumored to be the Shadow Keeper's shrine. He trudged through the mist, his flashlight flickering, breaths coming short. And there, among twisted trees and ancient symbols carved into stone, he found it: a forgotten shrine, overgrown and untouched by time. Shadows swirled around him, murmuring his name, calling him closer. As he stood there, helpless, the shadows began to consume him, merging into one dark, terrible form. His screams echoed through the trees, then, silence. The town returned to its restless slumber, as though nothing had happened. In Ravenswood, they say Detective Lucas Reed simply left. Just another lost soul, another name in a long line of disappearances. But those who whisper the old stories know the truth. For when you walk through the streets of Ravenswood on a dark night, they say you can still feel his presence, just out of sight. A shadow without a man, lurking in the darkness, waiting for the next soul to claim. So remember, if you ever find yourself in Ravenswood, keep an eye on your shadow. Because when it begins to fade, your time is almost up. If you like the story, like, share and subscribe to my channel for more exiting videos, and don't forget to leave a comment.